stand-up is one of those things where you do it and then it's sort of gone. You know, it lives on with people, but then you don't really know if it does or not. So I'm just constantly asking myself, like, should I be like building a car or something? You know, like, am I even doing anything? I just want to tell people how I feel, because I know there's got to be at least one other person that feels similar to me, you know. And then I started doing stand-up and I realized, like, oh, that is what it is. I just want to tell people how I feel, and I want them to listen. Every time I'm driving, I think of great jokes, or every time I'm in the shower, I think of great jokes. Anytime I'm occupied and don't have a pen and paper, that's when my brain likes to do it. So I like to come up here to be like, it's kind of like a shower. We're kind of driving. I feel like there's almost like two voices. You know, there's like a first voice that you have to figure out, and I was lucky because I started late, which is a weird thing to say because most people are like, you started too late. But at the same time, I started at like 28, so I didn't have to figure myself out on stage, because I think a lot of people that start at like 18 or 20, they're still figuring out who they are in the world in general, you know, and then they get on stage and they're doing that there. So it was a blessing that I started late, because I didn't have to figure all that stuff out. It's like watching somebody bowling and they throw the ball and the ball's just teetering right on the gutter or hitting all the pins. You know, that's like where I feel like I'm at. Like, is it gonna... And either one would be fine, because even if it goes in the gutter, then at least it's in a groove. When a woman walks on stage, people go, wait, what? Huh? In a way that they don't with men. Like, unless a guy comes out and he's got some crazy outfit on, or has crazy hair, or his beard is like this big, or so, you know, like, unless he's purposely doing something that's making people go, wait, what? When a guy walks on stage, people go, okay. They don't think like, what is that? You know, like when a woman walks on stage, they're just like scanning the whole thing and going like, wait, I'm not sure what this is. Like, who is this person? Why are they here? Is she supposed to be on stage? And it's not even looks. It's not even like whether you're hot or not. It's just the fact that you are a woman and you're not a man. Like, being a man is a default. And the thing is, like, you have to do a dance of using it, because it is a benefit to being a woman. I think it's a benefit to be a woman because you're an underdog. You know, it's any minority is an underdog, so it will benefit you, but you're also constantly working against it, because there's a bunch of people that aren't minorities and they're not working against that, and so it's good and bad at the same time. I did this BuzzFeed series with my fiance called Ask a Lesbian, where we just with like a lightness and an airiness, but also a seriousness, answered questions via Twitter about being a lesbian, and like some of them were silly and some of them were stupid and some of them were very real, and we tried to honestly answer them but also be funny about it. And then after that series came out, women and men at shows have been coming up to both of us, but specifically in this situation to me, saying like, those videos helped me come out. Like, I showed this to my mom and I was able to talk to her about who I was. This one woman came up to me who had a haircut like mine at a show, and she was like, I teach classes, or she did some sort of like outreach with students, and she's like, I talk to them about gender all the time, and we usually talk about it in this really sad, frustrating way, and thank you for talking about it in a way that's fun. You know, because like that, and that's all I ever wanted to do. I only wanted to talk about my experience of being a woman that looks like a boy and who's been yelled at her entire life for it by strangers, people I don't even know, and then try to make that experience like funny and relatable to people that look like me and act like me, and also to people that don't, so that they can see what that experience is, and that it's like serious and hard, and it made my life weird, but I also am an interesting person because of it. And most people that do experience that are interesting people that it makes us stronger for it. So that's the best compliment that I've ever gotten. Like, hey, thanks. Thanks for speaking to my experience. That's the best one. The more you experience someone else that's not like you, that you may have previously been like, whoa, you know, like terrified of that. Once you realize, oh, they're just people. Everyone's just people. It changes people's minds and hearts, you know, like, so I don't think I'm necessarily changing the world, but I am like planting seeds of like, hey, you just laughed with me and at me in a way that I dictated, you know? You've changed a little bit. Like, you're not laughing at me because of the way I look, you're laughing at me because I'm talking about the way I look, the way I want to talk about it. And now you're thinking about it that way.